Ladies and gentlemen of the viewing audience, this is a service announcement. We're back!
Hello! Excitement and nice fuzzy feelings.
It couldn't really start in any other way, could it? No, it couldn't. And so we are here with the well, this is actually not the first session. This is session 0 of It's a Dog's Life, which I've recorded a short hype video for if you haven't seen it already. But the point, of course, is that today we shall be making characters. That is the primary thing that we're going to be doing today. We're also going to, if there is time, do a little bit of talking about the premise of the game going forward, and then we shall see you for the game proper later on. But you will also notice, probably, that if all goes according to plan, and, you know, when does anything ever? But if everything goes according to plan, we will be using a slightly new format in that there will be one longer upload of a video instead of us cutting every game session into several pieces. That's at least what we're going to attempt to do. So if you only see one part of It's a Dog's Life going up, don't worry, it's not an error on your computer. It's not that you're missing part 2 or 3 or that we forgot to set them visible or anything. It's probably because it's meant to be that way. So that's, you know, there was actually a service announcement. Imagine that. I am so hyped for this, guys. I am so stoked to be doing this. You wouldn't believe it. And I'm really chuffed to be back in Werewolf the Apocalypse with you guys again. But it should be said, while 2 known players, to those who listen to A Song of Tara, are taking part in this game today, we do also have a new face here. Well, those of you who have listened to some of the other games on the channel will know Thalmid, but he is new to the World of Darkness with us. And there will be 2 players who are not currently present for this session 0. We don't know if they might drop in later on, but we don't think they will make it today. But there will be 5 players in all. However, right now I am joined by Thalmid, as I mentioned, and
hello.
By Chris.
Hello.
And by Rasmus.
Hello there.
Yes. And we are now going to launch ourselves into the wonderful, horrible, bloody, blood-soaked, terrible world of Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Let us take a look at the character generation process. You should all have a character sheet that you are able to interact with, first and foremost, correct?
I do.
Correct.
Good, that's good. And if we open up those, or you guys open up those, I'm just going to let people have a look at Frankie here on the page. And we go to the character sheet, then we may as well just launch ourselves straight into this. Because, of course, the whole point is that this campaign is a Bone Gnawer campaign. So all the characters are from the same tribe. And this, of course, is a way in which it differs from A Song of Tara, but it is that it will not be the only way, I assure you. What we have to start out by doing is settling on breed, auspice, and tribe. But as I mentioned, the tribe is already dealt with because that'll be Bone Gnawer for everyone. But breed and auspice we do need to deal with. And I have told my players that the rules for those two things is breed, obviously, for those who may have forgotten, means whether you are born as a wolf, as a human, or as the illegal byproduct of an illicit union of two werewolves, also known as a metis. And I have said that it is alright for there to be one player character in this campaign who is not Homid, who is not a human born. It's because these are meant to be rare. They are not meant to be, if I was dealing with a bunch of power players, they would all want to play Lupus because it gives them certain mechanical advantages, even though there are some drawbacks as well. So fortunately I'm not dealing with power players, but that said, I'm still going to limit it to one non-Homid breed. So once you have entered what you have chosen, I believe that people have been talking about this beforehand. So basically it has been agreed upon between the players who will be playing the non-Homid. And
Yes,
if I remember,
yeah,
I believe that is one of the people who's not here just yet.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm going to actually, I think I can squeeze it in so that there's room for all three character sheets to be opened at the same time. The next thing to choose, which I can see that you guys are also already ahead of me with, is to choose your auspices. And the auspice, in this case, the reason why we have 5 players is because there are 5 auspices, and I have asked for one of each. The players, again, have been good boys and girls and have spoken to each other beforehand and have agreed on who plays what. So I can see that we have represented here, we have the groups Gaillard, we have the Thurge, and we have the Philodox. Leaving, of course, the Ragabash and the Arun for the 2 people who are not yet present. And let us see. That means we have such things as pack name, pack totem, and concept left here. But you don't actually have a pack name yet, because that is something that may form in-game. You may decide, hey, let's make this an official pack or something. And then you can add a pack name and a pack totem at that point. You might want to throw in a word or two for your concept, but you don't, strictly speaking, need to.
Mm-hmm. I did throw out some ideas in our chat a few days ago, which are all rooted in Yorkshire dialect, because,
Yes.
I don't know. Pack name Dogecoin sounds pretty good.
Dogecoin. Yeah, I love that.
No.
That's more appropriate crossover.
Roof.
Yes. Because again, being in Yorkshire, there's all kinds of interesting slang that can be useful.
Yes, yes, there is.
And the ones I listed, things like, because our new player, Keris, mentioned wanting us to be mangy something, I looked it up and found that in Yorkshire, in West Yorkshire at least, there's mangy.
Yes.
Apologies to anyone from Yorkshire if I've mispronounced that, because, I'm from the south, I'm a Jesse, so I'm ignorant.
It's alright.
But it means sulky, bad-tempered, or peevish. And let's face it, what is a werewolf if not all of those things and then some?
Yeah, that is a good point. But of course, as you said, you are a Southern Jesse, and we are playing amongst Northern monkeys. So there you go.
Yeah, just have to do the best I can.
Yes, you do, and we do rely on you for accents as always, because
Yes.
those...
No.
Anyway, let's proceed.
Yeah.
We have some attributes to distribute, and of course they are as follows. You have 7, 5, and 3 points to distribute in the groups, respectively. Now, there are there are some limitations there in that I am going to be okay with people actually maximizing one of their stats. If you want a 5 in one of your stats, that is okay if you have the points for it. But I do want to see it role-played very heavily in that case. For instance, if you go for 5 strength, you will have a physique like a strongman competitor because you are... You cannot physically, as a human, be any stronger. So you would look like one of those blokes who compete in the world's strongest man competitions.
It's the mountain, the werewolf.
Yes, exactly. It's that Icelandic bloke out of the Game of Thrones or something. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying it is okay if you want to. Just be aware that it needs to be. It needs to be role-played.
So, since I'm the newbie
yes.
at World of Darkness, how does is it 1 point per? Is it point per point?
Yes, it's point per point, and you always, for attributes, you start out having 1 point as the base.
Okay.
Unless you're playing Vampire the Masquerade and you play a Nosferatu, you can't have 0 in anything. Nosferatu always have 0 appearance.
Yes.
Ugly little guys.
Oh, hell yes. They can't even try to pass for human. But the rest of the stats are... as I said, you'll always start with a base of 1, and then you just add a dot and subtract it from your total.
Okay.
Right, let's see. Being a third, I suspect I want to put...
So do we keep the 1 dot? Does that play into our total, or...
No. If you have, let's say, let's just use the 3 points that you have for the lowest total, right?
Right.
If a lot of people, I'm not saying that's what you should do, but a lot of people will then just add 1 to each, so you at least have 2, because 2 is the human average.
Yep.
There we go. I may have done some prep.
You may have done some prep work, yes. Which is fine, you're allowed to.
And I believe that with attributes as well as abilities, once you are at 4 dots and above, you need a specialization. Is that correct?
Yes, definitely. But we are going to get to specializations. I was actually going to deal with them when you've also dealt with your abilities. So we would do all specializations at the same time.
That would be smart.
Okay.
I forget. Can you use freebie points to get to above 3 in skills? Because then you might want to wait until after that.
No. That's the thing. You can't use freebie points to go above 3.
Okay.
So, let us see. This looks...
As this is only my second time playing
yes.
Apocalypse, and it has been a while.
Oh, it has.
Could you recommend what attributes of distribution I should consider as a third?
I can. I would consider setting mental either as your primary or secondary stats.
Yes, that was my thinking on that as well.
I would probably, as a bone gnawer, I would probably even say I would put them as primary, and I would go pretty heavy on perception and wits.
Yes.
In particular. They aren't big on book smarts, but they are big on noticing everything that happens around them, and they are big on street smarts.
Excellent. Yes.
And
so
then I would probably do because you are Guru, so I would probably do physical second and social third.
Sense is made.
And of course, it also means that you have, now I can see you have really high wits. It'll also help you in fight situations, because remember, wits plus alertness is how you calculate your initiative.
Ah, yes.
So wits is a nice stat to have. And
Excellent.
let us see. And it looks like you are very nearly done. I think you may, in fact, be done.
I'm at least done with attributes.
Yes, and it looks like both the other two are as well.
Yep.
Yep, excellent. Good. Then, that was quick and easy. So we proceed to the next one, which is abilities. And abilities, you have 13, 9, and 5 off, respectively. Again, column by column, you choose which one you have 13 in and which one you have 9 in and which one you have 5 in. Remember that the knowledge abilities usually represents book learning. These are things that require some element of study. It's not to say that you can't take them. It's just, again, remember, bone Norse being bone Norse and all that. But it is certainly doable. I'm not saying that you must put 5 points in those. So, again. There are some limitations here. You can put up to 4 points in a single stat, but not 5 here. Because basically, I will allow people to buy their way to the 5th dot in-game, but the 5, again, represents like the maximum skill level that a human being can attain at something. And I know that there are 9 dots showing, but as you can also see, there is like a division between the 5th and the 6th dot. And that is to illustrate that the 6th to the 9th dots are superhuman, if you ever get there.
Okay.
And in this campaign, at least some abilities you may be able to get to superhuman levels in them with experience points.
Cool.
But of course, that's also going to be relatively costly. Even though abilities aren't that expensive to buy up, but still, going from 5 to 6 dots is going to cost you 10 XP. So it's a lot to invest in for an extra dot. If a person has to be pretty sure that they really, really want that 6th dot to throw 10 XP at it, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Remember also, just as a reminder, that there is a difference between brawl and melee systemically built into the system. That basically melee is any form of close combat using a weapon, even an improvised weapon. You know, you pick up a chair, you break off one of the legs, and you use it as an improvised club. That's still melee, just as it would be if you picked up a finely crafted broadsword and hit someone with it. Brawl, however, does include werewolf combat with your claws, because they're literally attached to your hands.
Bite?
And bite as well, yes. Natural attacks are brawl. And if you want to be able to dodge something, then it is athletics that you use.
Okay.
It's just so that people remember, because I'm not saying that we're going to be spending oodles of time in combat all the time, but it will happen, obviously. And it's nice to remember, which stats you need for those. I think the good thing is that most of the stats most abilities are self-explanatory. However, it is the first time you play this, Thalmid, so I should explain a specific one for you, and that is the one called Primal Urge. Primal Urge, which you find under the talents part of abilities, is your connection to your inner wolf, basically. Okay. How good are you at channeling the uwu in you? And it is the ability that you use if you want to change shapes. You want to go from Homid to, let's say, Krenos, because you want to fight something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the way you do it is in one of three ways. If you're not under any kind of pressure, I'm just going to let you change, because no need to roll dice unless it has to be done. So if you have all the time in the world and you're not under any pressure, I'll just let you change. But if you are under some kind of pressure, or you're in combat or anything of the sort, and you need to change shape, then you roll stamina plus primal urge against a difficulty determined by the destination form that you're going for. They have different difficulties.
Okay.
And if in this case, if it's Krenos, I believe the difficulty is 7, if I remember correctly. And then you're going from Homid to Krenos. That is, though there are two shapes that you need to go past. It's Homid, and then it's damn it, I forget the name for some reason. Yes, you can see it down there at the bottom.
Homid,
Glabro,
Krenos.
And then Krenos.
Hispo,
and then Wolf. And so because you need to change two shapes, you need 2 successes on that roll.
Okay.
Let's say you only get 1 success, then you manage to get to Glabro. It's not that you fail in that case, it's just you don't get all the way there.
Gotcha.
So, or if, let's say, you want to go from Homid to Hispo, which is also a popular war form because direwolves are awesome. so you might want to do that instead. And you might think, I'm not sure I'm going to get 3 successes. It's a bit much. So in that case, you can spend a rage point. We'll get to rage later, obviously, but you can spend a rage point, and then you will automatically go, directly there. You will change directly from Homid to the shape that you're going for, without necessarily, you don't even go through the intermediate shapes on the way there. It's just a direct change.
Okay.
So, yeah. Because that is such an important stat, I thought it was a good idea to let you know.
Okay. And we can... we have freebie points at the end, correct?
You do have freebie points at the end as well, yes.
Okay.
So you can add a point or 2 if you want there. That's not
awesome.
Going to be a problem.
I have added my abilities.
Your abilities are all done, and...
Mine are as well.
All right, and it looks like...
Yep, mine too.
Are as well. Grand. This is going really quickly.
Woo! Oh!
Ooh. All right. Next in line, then we have. Let's see. What are we gonna do next? Backgrounds. And now things are gonna get a little bit dicier, because here, obviously, you need to actively choose your what is it called? Your backgrounds.
Yes.
And the Bone Lord tribe cannot choose ancestors and pure breed as their as part of their backgrounds, and as it says, resources are discouraged. I have made a decision that I will allow one of you, and I'll let it be one of you three if you want to, because you guys are here. But I'll let one of you have 1 dot of resources.
Terrible privilege.
Well, are any of you two interested in having a dot of resources?
I kind of am, just because of kind of the lost cub type of.
Yeah, and it would also in with your concepts as you explained it to me, it would also kind of make sense that you are still getting some basically veterans pay.
Right.
It's not a lot, and it'll only barely be enough to keep you afloat. But it's still 1 dot of resources is still more than 9 out of 10 Bone Gnors will ever see in their lives. So you know.
Right.
But let's take a look at backgrounds in general. That starts on page 135.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if all of you have the book, so I'll list them quickly. And I'll just leave out the ones that you couldn't take anyway, namely the ancestors and the pure breed. But you can have allies. You can have contacts. They are not the same thing. An ally may not have the knowledge that a contact has, and a contact won't come through for you in the way an ally will. You can have fate. This was something that you really played up in a Song of Tara.
Yes, indeed, and you went along with it.
Yes, I did, and I will go along with it here as well if you guys do decide to go ahead and take fate. And remember that fate is a communal resource, so if one of you takes 1 dot in it and another takes 2 dots in it, then if you form a pack, the pack will have 3 dots of fate. Just to remind you. There are fetishes, which are obviously the equivalent of magic items. I'm not going to ban them. I am going to ask people to be responsible when they choose. The idea of a Bone Gnaw at rank 1 starting out with a Grand Clave is a little much, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there are other cool little fetishes that might be interesting, so that is allowed. You can have kinfolk. Kinfolk are human beings who have the Garou gene in them, but they can't change. They lack that processor in their gene pool that allows them to change shape. So they are the closest allies that that you can hope to have, but they're not always in a position of much power. However, they are the kind of people who will let you crash on their couch for 2 or 3 days if the weather is particularly bad outside and that sort of thing. Provided they have a couch you can crash on. Kinfolk are not always rich. But it's family. You can have a mentor.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do kinfolk specifically need to be your family, like as
No.
in blood related, or can they be like family?
They don't need to. You can be a foundling, for example. So that is fine. The thing about kinfolk, their strongest ability by far is the fact that some of them, very few, can learn a single gift, and they are not affected by the delirium. So they don't.
Right.
They don't react. A normal human being who sees a werewolf in Krynos, specifically in Krynos shape, their brain will typically shut down because they can't process it. It's a primal kind of horror that is hard coded into humanity. That nope, I didn't see that, and then they forget it. Unless they have ridiculously high willpower. And
right.
But kinfolk don't react badly to they can see you in Krynos form, and that'll just be it. They'll just see you as you then look without flipping out.
That's very useful.
Yes. You can also take rites. Rituals, as it says, are an important part of Garou life. And this is not just something a Thurge can take. It's something that you could all take, but it's of course of particular interest to a Thurge.
Makes sense.
You can have what is called spirit heritage, which is that you share a kinship with the inhabitants of the spirit world, but some have a stronger connection than others. And basically, as it says, on 1 dot, spirits can smell their scent on you, though no one else can. And 5 dots is some question if you really are only half spirit. So that runs the gamut between those. And then finally, of course, totem. And again, just as was the case with fate, totem is also a communal thing. You can have a personal totem if you want to, but if you form a pack, you can choose to throw your totem points into a communal pool that will allow you to get a stronger totem that can do more things for you.
I am definitely considering putting quite a bit into totem. So that can either, I guess, for you guys mean that you can slag off in that area, or we can all do it, and we have like the most powerful totem.
Well, it depends again on how many points we have to put in our different. Because as a third, I'm definitely considering putting points into rights, obviously.
Of course, that would make all the sense in the world. But again, remember, you start out at rank 1, so you don't necessarily need to know a lot of different rights to begin with. No.
I think the areas I would like to focus on for backgrounds are, aside from rights, possibly spirit heritage. I did have kinfolk last time, but I'm always debating if I want it this time. I know it's useful, obviously.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah. Or possibly...
I mean, they all are in each their own way, right?
Yeah. Plus, Bone Nor kinfolk are going to be particularly sort of, they're going to be part of us anyway. And a lot of them are going to be in the same situation we are. They're going to be homeless.
Yeah.
How many points do we get for backgrounds?
5.
5, okay.
Nice, okay. I might put a point in totem. Just to help, just to contribute what little I own to this grand endeavor.
And for those of you who aren't who don't remember, I'm going to give you an example of a totem here because it's useful to know. And I'm going to go with rat because rat is the pact, or not. It's the tribal totem of the Bone Nors. It doesn't mean that you must choose rat. You can choose, for that matter, any of them. though some of them will be more logical than others.
I was about to say, provided they will have us.
Yes, that is exactly it. Not all totems. They're not obligated to accept you. But rats costs 5 totem points to even get rat as a basic totem. And then any point you have beyond 5, let's say if you pool your total resources in totem across the whole group, you have, let's say, 7 points, just to choose something, right? Then you have an extra 2 points that you can spend on giving rat extra abilities that can help you.
Oh. I have allocated 3 points to totem.
Yes.
Nice.
And totem, in the case of rat, will have... It's there's a brief description, obviously, of the totem itself, but there is also they give you individual traits, they give you pack traits, and they all have some sort of ban. And the individual trait is one that each person who follows this totem and has accepted them as the pack totem, then everyone will have access to that individual trait in any given situation. In the rat's case, basically, rat's children subtract 1 from the difficulty of all bite rolls and from the difficulties of rolls involving stealth or quiet, which is pretty strong, especially because bite attacks are already strong. So making it easier to hit with bite rolls is really, really something. It also gives you a pack trait. In rat's case, it says rat's pack can call on a pool of 5 willpower points per story. That's not per game session, that is per overarching story plot line. Bone Gnawers will aid the pack, and even Ratkin will be somewhat tolerant to the pack's existence. And Ratkin are basically the equivalent of werewolves, except they're were-rats. They're quite rare, it should be said. Ratkin are quite rare. So you may or may not run into any of them to begin with.
And I do believe that's partly our fault.
Yes, it is. And Ratkin normally absolutely hate Garou. They despise all werewolves because they were nearly wiped out by them. But if you follow Rat, then they may at least be begrudgingly tolerant of you. They might not like you, but they'll agree that, all right, at least you've seen some sense. And finally, they have the ban that Rat's children, that would be the pack in that case, must not kill vermin of any kind.
So no getting rid of the bedbugs.
No getting rid of the bedbugs or the cockroaches, or especially the rats, obviously. Just But so that's just an example to give you an idea.
Okay.
I have assigned my background point.
I have assigned mine as well.
I have not. I'm still considering.
Did you end up taking resources, Thali?
Do what?
Did you take resources?
I did. One
Yes.
point of resources.
1 point of resources, yes. 2 points of allies and 2 points of contacts. Excellent. We will need to work out who the allies and contacts are.
Right.
What is Rasmus gone for? Is that curious?
I have 1 dot in kinfolk and 1 dot in fetish.
Okay.
And since you talked about the fetish, Joan, I can already tell you that I'm looking at the magpie swag.
Right, and what does that do?
It's basically a small bag of holding.
Excellent.
Nice.
However, it cannot contain creations of the Weaver.
Oh, that makes sense.
Unless you use 2 points on it, but
Yeah. So you have a small bag of holding. That's actually kind of neat.
yep. And it can be dedicated. Is that what it's called? When it
Yes.
can go with you.
That's the rite of talisman dedication that you use for that, and it is, if you are going for any rights, which I assume you are, as you mentioned it, Chris,
Yep.
I would very strongly recommend that be the very first one you get.
Which one was that, sorry?
Rite of Talisman Dedication.
Right, okay.
And not just because it allows you to dedicate fetishes and talons and so on to an individual werewolf, but it's also what you use to dedicate clothing.
Yes.
And when you're homeless, getting a new set of clothing because you've ripped some in your most recent change is not as easy as it would be for the rest of us.
Indeed. Okay. I have tentatively set up my backgrounds with 1 point in fetish,
1 in rights.
1 in rights, 2 in spirit heritage, and 1 in totem.
Yes.
Cool.
Very nice.
Excellent. That is good. And then we will go to the next part, which is, let us see, merits and flaws. This is quite important, obviously, and it's usually this is the part that takes the longest.
Yes.
You can have up to you can get up to 7 points from flaws. I'm not going to stop you from taking more than 7 points worth of flaws, but I will urge you to be careful.
Yeah.
Because, flaws have to be role-played and they do have consequences. But on the other hand, I know there are a lot of them that are really fun, and it's like, oh, I would love that, and I would also really like that, and I would love that one too. And before you know it, you have like 15, 16 points worth of flaws, and you're going to be crippled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What page of the can I find these on?
That's that.
Merits and flaws. I just hopped there, so I can tell you. They start on page 471 in the appendix.
471.
It's quite a wave. Quite a way forward.
Mm-hmm.
There we are.
And of course, Joan, we spoke about one of the flaws I intend to take.
Yes, and I'm all on board with that.
And just for the rest of you, I intend for Frankie to have the flaw flashbacks, which, if you will allow it, I will read to you.
Yes.
You managed to make it through your first change, but not wholly intact. The most insignificant thing can throw you into a different mood or state of mind, and as such, your behavior is extremely unpredictable. Because of your precarious emotional state, your willpower fluctuates. At the beginning of each story, okay, so that's actually story, it's not session, sheesh. Make a willpower roll. You must not spend willpower for automatic success on this roll. If you succeed, you may participate in the story as normal. If you fail, however, your willpower score is considered to be 1 for the duration of that session. Okay, that's congruent.
Yes.
And you have only 1 willpower point to spend. You may roll again at the beginning of the next session to see if your willpower for that session works as normal.
Yes. So I was about to say it does specify later on that you roll per session.
Yes.
So, but it's still. It is pretty wild. Willpower of 1 is like porridge, for God's sakes. It's horrible.
Yes.
So yeah, I would definitely I would definitely say that is worth every one of the 6 points you get from it.
Yep. In addition to that, I would say one of my favorite flaws: slip sideways.
Oh yes, because oh my God, do you remember Haley's character who kept slipping sideways at the worst of times? She literally had the worst of luck when she rolled for that in the Song of Tara.
Mm-hmm.
Every time it would be inconvenient for her to slip sideways, you could bet that she did.
Oh yeah. Might it be good of us to also explain merits then?
Yes.
Or are we just do flaws now?
I think let's start with the flaws.
Right, that's a good idea.
Because they add every point of flaws that you take gives you an extra freebie point up to 7.
Yes, we should
So-
also look
And
at
then we you also spend freebie points on such things as obviously on stat increases and backgrounds, extra background points you want to spend, and extra ability points and so on. But you also spend them on merits.
Yes, also I think there's like gifts and rage and gnosis we need to cover as well.
There is also that, yes.
But I have picked the floors I would like to have.
Grand. Oh damn, guys! It's good to be back doing this.
Yep.
I agree.
Considering I'm playing the third, I'm tempted to get Slip Sideways as well, considering how much chaos we had with that one. It was a lot of fun.
Hilarious.
It is hilarious, but I would urge you guys to consider avoiding getting the same flaws.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Because it's a little more, in my opinion, a little more fun if people are individuals in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I'm not saying it's completely out of the question, though. So.
No, of course.
Well, in that case, Chris, if you really want it, I can look for a different 1-point floor.
No, I'm good. What's the one you're going for?
Flashbacks and Slip Sideways. So
No,
if you wanted Slip Sideways, I can go for something else.
Oh, you're going for it. That's why I missed that. Don't worry. Yep. I'll go something else. I've spotted something that might be of interest to me. As a supernatural 2-point floor, forced transformation.
Oh, so that is actually a cool one that is rarely seen. I like that.
Let's see. Certain circumstances force you to undergo an uncontrollable shift in form. You may resist the change by spending a willpower point, but once you have made the force change, you cannot change back until the triggering situation has passed. You may lose the following examples to design your own circumstances. Basically, the one I'm thinking of is that the bottom one lists sexual arousal stimulates a force change. 1 point to Glackro, 2 points to Krenos. So yeah, basically every time he gets even remotely horny, he's going to transform into a 9-foot-tall death machine.
and frighten his potential partner into unconsciousness.
Basically, yes. And they're like, yes, well, it's very awkward. Obviously, can't be. I just can't help myself. I'm constantly having to go and find somewhere and sorting myself out. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's just note that down. Sexual arousal
I love that.
change to Krenos. I mean, we're bone gnawers. We're not meant to be particularly. There's not much we need to be. Ashamed about.
Exactly, it is not a PG game to begin with. So.
No. So just thinking about what other. So yes, I'll find a few more flaws and maybe a good merit or two, and then freebie points on.
And we'll wait a bit with spending the rest of the freebie points because we need to set gifts and willpower and rage and gnosis first, because you can spend freebies on those as well. Obviously, it's always the problem is forever going to be I don't have enough freebies.
Always. Yep.
Always
that's exactly
the problem.
Yep. Let's see.
There was, back in the heyday of World of Darkness, there was a supplement released for Vampire the Masquerade called Elder. I believe it was just called Elder, or at least that was the point. If you want to, instead of playing neonate vampires or relatively young vampires, you would be playing the old guard
Oh.
And it meant you started out with a character sheet like any others. That, if I remember correctly, you did get slightly more points to spend, but not actually a lot. But what it gave you access to was a stat called age. It was a background. And age basically was an indicator of how many years you had been active. Not even how old you were. You could be 5,000 years old and come from the ancient pre-biblical civilizations, but if you've only been awake for a couple of hundred years out of all of those, that would be reflected in your age score. And you couldn't spend freebie points on age. You had to buy it using only your normal background points.
Okay.
But every point of age that you got then gave you, I believe, if I remember right, every point of age gave you another 20 freebies.
What? That's crazy.
Yes, it is. But it was meant to be a power campaign. That was the whole point of the supplement, was that it was, you were meant to play powerful, old vampires.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
It wasn't one of their best supplements. I will gladly admit that, but it was quite popular for a while.
Yeah, because let's face it. Sometimes people in role-playing games or games in general, they enjoy a good power fantasy.
Yes, but what usually happened was that what usually happened was if a storyteller ran an elder campaign.
Mm-hmm.
What they would do is they would say, they would say, I will bookmark 2 of your background points for age, so everybody had the same amount. And then you would simply make your character with a couple of less normal background points, but with 40 extra freebies.
Yeah.
And I do also, I seem to recall there was something else about it was costly to your humanity. That was it. Yes, the more points you had in age, the bigger a hit you would take to starting humanity.
Ah. That is a rather precious resource.
It is. So it wasn't, I think if you had 5 points in age, if I remember correctly, you couldn't start above 5 humanity. That would be the maximum. Which makes you fairly bestial, so...
Yeah.
Try playing a gangrel with that. That's like, oh my god. You'd be running around looking more like a wolf or a shaggy dog than most Garou.
Yup.
Anyway, that's that was a sidetrack while you guys are picking some stuff.
Yes.
I kind of like the persistent parents flaw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yep, I think I'm going to take that one.
So they are actively looking for you and trying to get you to come back home stateside.
Yep.
There you go. And of course, I should, remember to say, you don't have to pick the full 7 points worth of flaws if you don't want to.
No,
Right.
of course.
That was a bit of Wickfield in the background there.
Huh. Yeah. Are any of you thinking of getting the ever popular, ever useful merit of common sense?
I was looking at that one.
I have avoided it deliberately. But it is definitely, as you say, ever useful.
It will be used the way I always use that kind of merit in, or advantage, or whatever it's called, depending on game system. In that, since I tend to forget that people have it, people are welcome to chime in and say, look, I have common sense. What does it say about this?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm also going to take the flaw phobia.
Ooh, what off?
Spiders.
All right.
Well, you know,
You're not gonna like the Weaver spirits.
yes, this character would not have liked, yes, Weaver Spirits or that spider we met in in the shopping centre in Dublin.
Jesus Christ, no. The spider in the shopping centre would have probably sent him into a blind panic.
That thing was the size. I should point for
It was like
Balmond's
She-Hulk,
sake.
for God's sakes.
I'm about to say for you'll understand. I need to think of a vehicle you'll know, being American. It was probably about the size of a chieftain tank.
Wow.
Yeah,
No, thank
It
you.
was Marty's friend.
it was. It was very friendly and very hungry for cow spirits.
Yes, it liked Moo.
Yes, so much.
No complaining.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna use that at the 2-point value.
Excellent.
And I think for my merits, I'm going to take common sense,
Yep.
computer aptitude, and mechanical aptitude.
There you go.
Oh.
And then I shall be finished.
Good. And
Okay, that's 4 points.
there we are. Yep, I see that you've taken some pretty good merits as well, Rasmus.
Yeah, my idea for Frankie is that she's actually a bit of a badass. She just also has some crippling mental health issues, which, you know, even if you're a badass, that can still bring you down.
Oh yeah. Definitely so.
I think, yes, I'll keep one of the points clause that are built up for freebies.
Sure.
The rest of them, I'm going to balance that with merits. Merits I will go for are Wolf Sight.
Mm-hmm.
What does that do?
Basically, in all your forms, you see colours and intensities of light as a wolf does. Your colour vision is slightly less distinct than that of a human's.
Mhm.
Though you embrace the full spectrum of colours, your night vision, however, far surpasses human nocturnal vision. You also notice movement more readily. You gain an extra die to all visually based perception rolls that involve movement. or take place at night.
Yes.
Cool.
And also going to take 2 spiritual or supernatural merits, which are Moonbound, I believe it's called. Let me check. Yeah, Moonbound and Spirit Magnet, which is a double-edged sword, but I'm not willing to play with it.
Yeah.
Because, not all spirits are particularly benevolent.
No, not all spirits are.
Points out that I can also will be more. I'll also be easier for Banes to come and say hi.
Exactly. But Banes, of course, being worm spirits.
Yes, and we don't like the worm or any of its little minions. But yes, so Moonbound means that I am more in tune with my auspice than most gurus. So when the moon wanes in my auspice, I receive 1 less die to every roll in terms of. And when Luna waxes in my auspice, I receive 1 extra die to my roll.
Oh, interesting.
So, as long as we've got a crescent moon, I'm golden. Everything else, I'm a bit shit.
It's when it's waxing and waning. It's actually it actually means that you are. It's when it's leaving. It's when the moon is waning. It's because it's leaving crescent moon.
Yes, exactly.
So you don't if it's a full moon, you don't also have 1 less because it's only for a couple of days. But when it's waxing is both when it's growing into a crescent moon.
Yes.
And when it is a crescent moon. So that's why it's a merit because you do get. So yeah. So it's not it's not as bad as because if you got -1 die on 4 different to everything on 4 different moon phases. And only got an extra die on 1 moon phase, it would be a flaw, not a merit.
No, exactly. So it's +1 die when waxing crescent, and then minus that
crescent.
die.
Yeah, when waning crescent.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, and that gives me 1 additional freebie point.
Yes.
Because yes, we've got no partial transformation as a physical flaw. So basically, as it points out, if I'm in lupus, I can't change my larynx to that of a homid to speak to people.
Yeah.
I'm impatient, so I need to roll a willpower 6 to wait rather than act on something, or else I'll just walk off and do it myself, and sod all the rest of you if you're not going to do it now. And then the aforementioned forced transformation whenever I get a hard on. So.
Yes, which is really a problem.
Yes. Oh, this is very embarrassing. I do apologize.
Yes, that's gonna lead to some problems.
Yes. Trying to find the one person in all of Yorkshire who is A, kinfolk, and B, a monster fucker.
Well, it's the forced transformation doesn't mean that you can't change back out of that shape.
No, but the point is that it has to be whatever's caused the forced transformation has to stop having effect. So basically, I have to stop being horny, and then I can change back.
Exactly.
You're screwed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I am going to take 1 more merit, which is acute sense, and mine's going to be smell.
There you go.
Nice.
For Frankie, for merits, I took self-confident and inner strength.
Nice.
So she's quite confident in her abilities and quite. She can go far on the willpower she has, but that's not always a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
All right, I think I'm done for.
Good. I think you are all done with merits and flaws. That's excellent, and we're making good time here, guys. This is really good.
Nice.
It's really, really, really positive. Let's see if I remember this correctly. Because yes, I did. Bone Lores. Here we go. Okay. You are, because you are Bone Norse, you have one significant advantage over others.
Yes.
You start with 4 willpower. Your beginning willpower is quite high.
Nice.
Compared to other tribes of the Guru. 4 is obviously not a super high willpower in itself. It just means, you might not have to spend quite so many points, freebie points on raising it to an acceptable level.
Yeah.
And you might decide, no, let's leave it where it is. But in any case, you start at 4.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on your auspice, your rage is also determined. So if you're a Thurge, you start with 2 points of rage.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Philodox, you start with 3 points of rage. And if you're a Gaillard, you start with 4 points of rage.
Yeah, I've actually made a much angrier character this time around.
Yes, you have.
Yes.
You
got a
have
role
made,
player.
you have made a backup warrior.
I have.
That is, I mean, let's face it, that is one of the roles of the Gaillard, is to be, the ones who charge in right behind the Arun.
Yes. But they also have to be the ones to live afterwards and then tell the story of how the Arun got killed.
Yes, true.
In a suitably epic fashion, of course.
Poor Karis.
Yes. All right. And that was... and then you have Gnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Gnosis is 1 point for each of you because you're all Homid.
Yes.
Yes, of course. That's how that
They're
works.
entirely not magical.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
slightly more than your average human, but...
And again, this can also be raised with... it can also be raised with freebie points, and of course with XP later on in the game.
Nice.
So you may not start out being super in tune with the magical world. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, in my case, I would like to be as much as possible, considering my auspice.
Oh yes, I would imagine that you would at least make for a couple of points of gnosis. But we shall take a look at that a little bit later, because for now we need to pick gifts.
Yay, gifts!
Yes, gifts are fun.
Mm-hmm.
And because that really is what sets the Guru apart tribe by tribe, in my opinion. So we will start out by choosing 1 for your auspice, 1 for your breed, and 1 for your tribe. So you start out with 3 gifts. And because I'm already looking at them, let us start with the tribal ones.
Tribal gifts. They, for the Bone Gnaw, would be starting on page... Oh, I scrolled too far. That was too rough, guy. 174.
174. Excellent. And this is one of my favorite gifts, just because it is absolutely revolting. Cooking.
Yes, I know. It's so gross.
Cooking is so horrid, it hurts, but it is also really brilliant.
Yeah, well, it means we can...
You can eat pretty much anything. You just have to forget what's in there.
I know, I was reading that and it's like, use like what, cigarette butts for example. I was like, ugh.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. Beer cans, old newspapers, dead leaves, whatever. Add water, spits will do,
Yeah.
and stir.
Oh, that's so gross.
So disgusting. It is so revolting.
pasty and bland tasting, but filling in nutritious mush.
Yes. Yes.
Don't knock it till you've tried it, my friend.
Does anybody want the gift cooking?
I believe I shall take the next one for Frankie, but cooking
Yes.
is very useful.
It is super useful.
Let's see. I absolutely am considering taking it.
I'm going to take resist toxin.
That is also a very good one.
Look, so we've got cooking, desperate strength, resist toxin, and scent of sweet honey.
You also have Trashy's Treasure.
Oh yes, trash is
yes.
treasure. The refuse of humanity. Any Pokemon to contemporary functional usefulness.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
It is very good.
Especially with you with your propensity for tech, that sounds like a good gift for you, actually. Resist toxin, immune to alcohol. Oh god.
You can shut it off willingly.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
For when yes.
But if you want to win a drinking contest,
You are in this particular game. You will be able to get drunk as Garou, but you will be naturally be more resistant to it than most human beings. If you have resist toxin, you will be immune to it. Even if you have resist toxin, you will even be immune to that horrid thing that the Fina brew up that can get a werewolf completely sloshed. Because who but the Irish tribe would actually create a form of Talon which is literally Irish whiskey for werewolves?
Of course.
Of course they would.
Either gonna be it's either gonna be if you're sticking with resist toxin, Falmers, I will go with cooking, because I just love the idea of creating the out of all the most horrible shit and just creating something that's actually edible.
Yeah.
And it is also just, honestly, it is one of the most iconic Bone Nor gifts of all.
Yeah.
Is that one. And if I remember correctly, you were actually subjected to it once in A Song of Tara when you visited down by the train station.
And we actually had some.
Yeah, I believe you did once.
And yes, but I assume, based on the description, that it
was Snickering Sneaker who
yes.
made it. Yes.
But the point is that I assume, based on the thing that we found, it's actually not too bad. What's this made of? And then he's like, oh, a bit of everything, literally. And then we had to get it out of our system.
Yeah, I think.
Hopefully it's just mushy going out.
Yes. Oh dear. Well, this is certainly this would be useful to us if we need to go on long stakeouts. We'll need some sustenance, and they'll just be me handing around little tins of and everyone's like, what is this? Don't ask. Just don't
even exactly. All right. Yes. Well, exactly.
Okay, that's the tribal gift.
Yes. Then let's get one for Homid.
Okay, that's the breed gifts.
Yes. Breed
152.
152.
152. Yes.
In that one, I think I should like to go with persuasion.
Yes.
Although there are quite a few of them that are pretty cool.
Master of Fire is probably the most powerful one on that level. That and city running is also super useful, obviously, but the ability to change a form of aggravated damage into bashing damage is like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, you're hit by fire, and it's like, oh, look at this now, my coat's all charred, you daft cunt. You're supposed to be burning and writhing in agony, Wolf. Yeah, so much for that, eh? Yeah, so it's in my case, it will either be City Running or Master of Fire. Yeah.
I'm imagining that Apecraft's Blessing is looking good for you, Thali.
It is.
Also, I'm going to just check. I know it's trying to avoid the same flaws and merits as each other. I assume it's okay if we get similar or the same gifts between us sometimes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 8 crafts.
Yeah.
Blessing here.
It is kind of cool. Apecraft's Blessing is kind of neat when you want to fire a gun in lupus form.
Yes, because that somehow works.
Pick it up and use your tongue to pull the trigger, and you actually manage to aim it properly and not knock all your teeth out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or you see a wolf repairing an engine.
Just a wolf coming running with a wrench.
It's very, very neat.
Yes.
So that takes care of your breed gifts?
Almost.
Mm-hmm.
Just need to get the things laid out in the...
Oh, of course.
But then, yes, we'll move on to Auspice.
Auspices. And they are, of course, going to be different for each of you, because you are all different auspices.
Yes, it's just the way that God, the storyteller, intended. All right, I'm set. I'm ready to add the auspice gift.
All right, then let's hop on to that, and let's start with. Well, so just take them in order. So Thurch is first.
Yep. What page am I looking for?
We are looking at page 164.
Let's have a look. 164. Excellent. Yes. Okay.
Ooh, Mother's Touch.
Third child spiritual path through hands, mending any wounds of any living creature. This.
Yeah, it's the healing one.
I want to say that sounds incredibly useful, all things considered. I remember that Taryn used it quite a lot, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Did she manage to get access to the upgraded version as well?
I don't think so.
Grandmother's Touch?
No, I think you have to be Children of Gaia for that.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes, I think I got it though.
Yeah, you did. But
Oh,
it is
Battle
very,
Man.
very useful.
Yeah, I think just as a matter of principle and practicality, I'm going to get that.
Yeah, the others can, all of the other ones are good too. Sense Worm is always going to be a winner, but yeah, honestly, Mother's Touch. My goodness.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be able to. If I need to, I'm sure I can find a spirit who can teach me how to sense worm at some point.
That is exactly it. Let's go on to Philodox gifts. That's 166.
Get access to Fangs of Judgment.
Yes.
The Truth of Gaia sounds pretty fun.
Like that.
It is. It is. Truth of Gaia is, for one thing, it is fun. Secondly, there is something hysterical about the image, the mental image of the lowly Bone Gnawer sitting there while the high and mighty Silverfang is blabbering on about his exploits, and the Bone Gnawer just wiggles his fingers a little and goes, "He's lying."
Nope.
He's still lying. Ooh, ooh, he's lying again. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take Truth of Gaia.
Yep. Let's take a look at Gaillard's, and that's on page 169.
Hey.
69.
Yeah, I also know which one I would like.
Which one is that?
Call of the Wild.
Yes.
Because I imagine Frankie being quite the howler.
Yes. Ha ha ha.
No, one of those howlers.
So yeah, it is very useful. It is basically this is the guru equivalent of a cell phone.
Yes. Also because it seems like there are a lot of like there's a few like inspiring howls as well, which is kind of cute.
Yes.
And that was both cute and cool at once, which was like cute, but I meant to say cool.
Yes. Definitely. All right. Well, that takes care of your gifts. Very nice, guys. Very, very nice.
Yay.
And that, I think, takes us, at long last, and we do need some renown. We do need to add your renown.
Oh, yes.
So we are going to...
Don't imagine we have a lot.
No, you will start out with quite little in renown, but you're going to start out at rank 1, so that would go for any tribe. Okay, a rank 1 Thurge, you have no glory and no honor, but you do have 3 wisdom.
Yeah, that makes sense.
A Philodox, you have no wisdom and no glory, but you have 3 honor.
Got it.
A Gaillard has 2 glory, no honor, and 1 wisdom.
Woo, balanced. Slightly.
Slightly, yes. No, the best balance is actually the Ragabash, because they can basically just have 3, and it can be any combination. That's the Ragabashes have it so damned easy when it comes to rising in rank, because as long as they are in renown, it doesn't matter where, they can always use it.
Yeah. But it's good to... I kind of like that the starting renown kind of tells you why you should consider placing your focus.
Yeah. And that takes care of that. So, yes, I think we are finally up to spending your remaining... freebie points.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Nice.
And there should be a page with some
Costs. It's
yeah,
under
with
the
exact-
character creation process.
Let's
So that's
find
I can find them.
freebies.
It is on page 114 at the bottom, just
Excellent.
above the awesome image of the wolf.
Yes. That is one angry black spiral.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, they do tend to be.
Yeah, they do tend to not be the nicest of people, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
But that will tell you how much it costs in terms of freebie points, and obviously you'll get good value for money for stuff like rage, willpower, and backgrounds, because they only cost 1 per dot. But
And this is where I needed to ask: could I take that 4th dot in performance now?
yes, yes, you can spend. I will allow that people spend freebie points up to 4 dots in something that's there, but not 5.
Okay. Let's see. I think we will
Well,
slightly differently then. Let's see. and 5 rage. That's
That
that's
is
a
an
lot.
angry person.
Yeah, that's about to say.
I was gonna keep it at 4, but then I was like, well, if I'm gonna be a backup fighter,
Yeah.
rage is
and
so fucking useful in combat.
it is stupidly useful in combat.
I have 1 point left. I could either use that on a willpower or background. Would you be okay with me having 2 1-level fetishes?
Yeah, I would, but I would also suggest, since none of you have chosen this background yet, I would maybe have you look towards Fate.
Oh, you know what? I like Fate. So I'll put a dot in Fate. Why not? There we go. Chosen.
Oh, such choice. Do I want that third? Is it worth? Do I want that third point in Primal Urge, or do I want to spend some more points on things on backgrounds?
Remember that in game, it is much easier for you to buy up your abilities than to get access to a new background.
That's true. Very true. In that case, I shall do that. I'll put a point in Fate.
Yep.
Another point in Totem.
Yep. Because that's
I'll also
because getting access to a background in the in game is, strictly speaking, it is possible, with some limitations.
Yep.
But there has to be an in-game reason for it. It has to be, backed up by the narrative, basically, which is to say that it's harder to get some things, whereas in terms of your buying up your Primal Urge, you can basically almost always justify doing that just by being Guru.
Yes.
Oh, I changed shape this past game session. I would like to. I have been practicing my inner wolf. I want to up my Primal Urge.
Go.
Okay, I'll buy a third point of Rage.
Yep.
And a third point of Spirit Heritage.
There you go.
Yes, I am very much with the spirits.
You are definitely much with the spirits, but that is good. The spirits will like you.
Yes. And I will like the spirits.
For the most part, at least. I mean, obviously, the having to deal with Banes and at least some Weaver spirits may be a little bit problematic.
Yes. I'm sorry, I've got to make this joke, but no. Oh, you think the Umbra is your ally? I do. Despite its flaws, I do like that film. Okay, I think that's all my freebies spent.
All right. Do any of you have any left to spend?
I have not.
You are, in fact, all done.
Aside from specialties, yeah, I think so.
Yes, that is the final thing that we'll do. We should have done that a little earlier, but that's fine. We'll just do it now.
Yes,
Would you like to hear what I've spent them on?
Yes, so you have some stats, some abilities, and some attributes. Specifically, these are for attributes and abilities only, that are at 4 dots or more. And if you have an attribute or an ability at 4 points, you have a specialization in this. You're particularly good at something. And this is important because specializations allow you, when you roll your dice to see if you succeed on something, as always, you combine an attribute and an ability. And then if you roll a 10 on a d10, and what you are doing somehow conforms to your specialization, you can re-roll that 10 into more successes.
Which is cool.
Which is cool.
Cool.
And that is why it is a good idea to make sure that you choose something that you feel you will have good use of in game. And we will go through these. Let us start out with Frankie.
Yes.
You have, as I can see it, you have 3 things that you need to choose.
I actually have 5 because 2 of my knowledges require specializations for just 1 die.
That is true. That is true.
So I have charisma.
Yeah.
In which I have looked in the book because it's a good place to get inspiration.
Yes.
And I've decided that captivating was a good
one. Yes. I believe that I agree with you, especially considering your choice of career, so to say.
Right. I'm considering what to call it for manipulation.
Yes.
Considering like fast talk for like getting out of trouble. Would that be like?
Yes, it certainly would.
Fast talk then. For performance, I'm considering singing.
Yep.
But I also saw that it could suggest howling.
That is true.
So I well, I suppose I should ask, can you get 2 specializations to the same role?
Yes, you can. If you get, let's say, if you get your performance up to 5, then you would choose another specialization.
Oh, I was thinking since I have captivating and sing.
Now I understand what you mean. Yes, because it's. I mean, you will only re-roll the 10s once anyway, but it'll always make it easier for you to argue that my captivating singing is an
advantage.
The easier it is to argue, the better, obviously. But I could understand if you wanted howling.
I think I want howling.
Yeah, sure.
And that also kinda, I think, informs slightly the way she sings. She's very good at like that kind of what do you call that? I mean, obviously you don't howl when you sing, but
but you draw out notes.
Yeah,
yodeling.
It's very good at that.
Yeah.
And then I need for science and technology. Those both require a specialization, even if I have less than 4.
Yes, and I can see technology. You've already chosen jury rigging.
Yes, but
that makes sense. That's a very solid choice.
For science, I'm not as sure. I was considering, since she probably works with like a minimum of equipment for like setting up a stream performance.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I figured technology made sense. But I don't know what to write for, like, the science of knowing acoustics and shit. Is that physics? I mean, it's covered in physics, but it just seems so...
Acoustics, yeah, it is a physics-based...
Yeah, it is.
I'll write physics.
Yes.
I mean, as I said, it seems a little less... It's not as specific, but hey, maybe I shouldn't look having a broad specialization in the mouth.
No, that's I would say that takes care of your specialties.
Yeah.
Let's look at Barry. And let's find...
I see that you have written that Barry is a Gaillard.
That's weird, because he's listed as a 3rd if you scroll all the way up to the top.
Oh, I can't see his character sheet. I can just see his bio and info.
Oh, right. I think that may be
that's because there's a reason for that. I copied it from yours in terms of the layout, so I must have forgotten to remove that part. There we go. Auspice Urge.
There we are.
Barry Greenwood, yes.
Yes,
Those are the
let's
initial
have a look and
presentation.
see which ones you need to choose specializations for, though. You have only 2, as I can see.
Yes.
Unless there are some of the knowledges that require it.
I know science and technology both do.
Yeah.
I'm just checking them real quick. Academics also does.
Okay, academics
yeah.
does as well. All right. So,
Well, that seems to be it.
perception and wits.
Okay.
And of course, the book has suggestions under the attributes and abilities, if you want to know those.
Where will I find those?
Perception is on 125.
Thank you. 125.
So, Rasmus, which ones require a specialization, did you say?
Of the knowledges?
Mm-hmm.
Academics, science, and technology.
Ooh,
Off the top of my head.
I have technology.
Doobie.
What's the major difference, would you say, between eyes in the back of your head and uncanny instincts?
That eyes in the back of your head means that you are difficult to jump, whereas uncanny instincts are more a matter of you, before something happens, you would say, oh, I think, let's say you have a choice between going left and right.
Yeah.
And yours would then be, oh, you know, I can see that even though everything here is a complete mess, I am pretty sure, yes, we should go left here, because see that little, see that newspaper over there, that old newspaper, it's been toppled over, or something, you know, that sort of thing. Whereas eyes in the back of your head is more of a, oh, somebody's about to jump you.
I see, okay. Well, considering that this game, I think, has at least the sales pitch. This game has an emphasis on investigating. We're trying to get to the root of who's trying to.
That is true.
So I think I'll go with Uncanny Instincts.
Yeah. I think that's a good choice.
Yeah, so where would I note the specialities?
If you look if you look down under your dice pools, then right underneath that there are 2 little boxes that says ads, and in between those 2 there's something that says specialty. So if you click on the bottom of those that says ads, or add, then you can...
Okay.
In fact, let me do it for you, so you should be able to see where it pops up.
Yeah, sure.
There you go. Boing!
Come on, where am I looking? Show me. Yes, specialties.
Yes.
Specialties, I see it.
Exactly. And then you can just choose from the drop-down menu. You can choose any stat there.
Let's see. It is a perception.
Yep.
And it's
Uncanny
instinct. Nice. And I also need one for wits, you said.
You need one for wits as well.
Oh, such choice.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to be cool-headed or do I want to be cunning?
Ooh.
And you aren't necessarily limited to the suggestions that they make. If you have one that you feel would fit as well, then I will definitely listen to it. But these are at least suggestions.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cunning. I'll try and make him cunning.
You'll be cunning. All right. And then, last but by no means least, we're gonna have Xander. You have you have 3 different ones, including technology.
Yes.
And there we go. Yes, let's start with dexterity.
Dexterity, I think I'm going to go with lightning reflexes.
Good idea. That is a classic and a very good one. Basically, it's one of the ones that I will always agree will allow you to roll on for dodge rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily for hit rolls, but dodge rolls are nice. It's very good to not be hit.
Yup.
Firearms, I was going to do marksmanship.
Yes.
Oh. Living up to some American stereotypes, I hear.
He's ex-armed forces, I believe, so...
Yep.
Oh, that would make sense then.
Mm-hmm.
So he would probably been a sharpshooter. With
jerk, don't make fun of Americans.
With four dots in something, you are so good at it that you know you can make a living of a standard soldier, a good standard GI would have 2 dots in firearms.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he's got 4, he would almost certainly have been a sharpshooter.
Yep, special forces, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then technology.
Yes.
I think we're gonna go computers.
Yes.
This is specialty.
At some point, you need to get your hands on that rank 1 gift with being able to use broken tech.
Yes.
It's like so damned useful. Oh, look, somebody tossed away their smartphone because it's broken and doesn't work anymore. Now it does work.
Yeah.
And spend a gnosis point on it and it'll work for 24 freaking hours.
Oh my god. Now I'm thinking Frankie has an old Nokia with the indestructible kind.
Oh, yes!
It doesn't.
Yes!
Yeah, it doesn't break. It's a weapon.
Exactly.
Nice.
That's definitely a thing, though.
Oh my god, I love that. What's it called? 3310? Wasn't that the model?
Yes, that's the indestructible one.
That's the indestructible one. Alright. So, that takes care of your specialties. And...
We might want to specify some backgrounds if there's nothing else.
You can specify some backgrounds, but you can also do that before we play the first time if you want to give them a little bit of thought. And then we can, if you want, we can pop over to talking about the if you have any questions for the premise of the game, and I have something that I want to suggest at least.
I have a what do you call that? A cry for help.
Yes.
Because when it comes to deed names, I am horrid.
Yes.
Well. So I don't know what to call her.
No, but we can do that in one of 2 ways. Either we can just help you with one, or we can do with my suggestion, as I mentioned. Because what I would like to suggest is that for you to get a better feel for your character, we can play for each of you like a 1-hour session. Just it will be recorded, of course, but a 1-hour session, 1-on-1. Others can sit in and listen if they want to, but there will only be 1 active player that will deal with your first change. We did this for A Song of Tara, and it I believe really helped people get a good starting feel for their characters.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I agree. I mean,
as part of that, you also got your deed names.
yes.
So we can do it the same way, and then the deed names will be as part of what happens in will be part of what happens in the story there. or we can try to think of one now if people would prefer. That either is good with me.
Am I misremembering, or don't you start with like a pub name and then you get a name?
Yes, but we would then with the first change here, we would basically end up with it being, okay, and then this is this was how you changed, and when you were done, and everything, you then this would have been your deed name.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think that could be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for the first change session.
It just gives a little bit extra, depth to the character right from the get-go, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't usually take very long. I think the longest one of the ones we played took like an hour and 15 minutes or something. So those were pretty easy, and it was just a matter of, hey, do you have time now? And then we'll get it done. But if the way I'll do it is, if we haven't managed to get everyone to take care of this before Monday next week, when we meet again for the next of these sessions, then we'll deal with them as part of the beginning game sessions.
Yeah. I do think we trying to get everyone to do an individual one is good.
Yes.
I mean, let's face it, it's not just a Song of Tara, it's a staple of our Changeling campaign as well.
It was, exactly. It happened in the Changeling campaign as well. So yeah, I think we'll do that. It's a good introduction to characters for the listeners as well.
Then I have one more question.
Yes. Because
I seem to recall that when it comes to the lupus form, Bonors are a bit atypical.
They are, to put it mildly, as they can't have pure breed, and as they tend to be a little more laid back about breeding rights than most of the other tribes. They are the only. They constitute the only werewolf tribe with a net growth in population.
Yes.
This is really a point of pride for them, that all the other tribes are slowly but surely dying out, except the Bone Norse, who are growing, admittedly slowly, but they are growing. Because they just aren't as uptight about that sort of thing as all the others. But it also means that they do tend to look more dog-like and less wolf-like, but they are still wolf-y.
So who's going to be a corgi?
Exactly, the were-corgi that Hille was joking about would, in her case, she was going to take a flaw to make it that way, because otherwise you might look, you might be more of there might be a little bit of, if somebody saw you in bad lighting, right, your wolf form, they might think like, what the hell, is that a particularly wolf-like German Shepherd or what? Something like that, because you would still have the pointed snout, you would still have the sharp ears and so on, but you at the same time there are these traits, and your coat in particular is probably going to be not particularly you may in fact have the markings of a German Shepherd.
So if I were to say that in her wolf form, Frankie has a remarkable resemblance to a collie, that would be all right.
That would be all right.
And I'm going to do that.
He would be a wolf-like collie, but yes, you would again in bad lighting it would be like, what?
Exactly.
Oh my god! I just googled wolf collie.
Oh, I have actually not. So I'm not getting particularly.
Oh my god! Oh, look at all the floof! Oh my god!
They're pretty funny looking.
What's where? How are you looking at it?
Google.
Google.
Oh, Google. Yes.
Wolf collie. There's a good one of a grey wolf sable and white border collie combo. That is like an enormous amount of floof.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. If only it was red.
Well, you
Because
can make it
obviously-
red.
I can probably edit it to make it red. Yeah.
There's actually one here. I'll send you a picture.
Please do. Because obviously, as she has red hair,
I think that picture should hopefully, or that link should hopefully work.
let's have a look. Ah, that could definitely work. I have to admit, in that case, she will not end up looking particularly threatening.
No, not really.
Is that a bad thing?
There's that one as well, Erasmus.
That one definitely seems to be Colliora. Colliora.
Color.
Yes. No.
More
Yes.
collie-like, yes.
Yes.
I think
Looking at it gives you cholera.
Oh no!
Oh, that's bad.
I'll link the image I've got for Barry.
Yes, let's have a look.
Because we have to have something irreverent. I've put this as a link. This is my thing.
Let's have a look. That's an expression.
That's a win. Oh my god, that is a win.
Yep, that's his Wolf 4. It's
Oh my god, I love that. Oh, and the slightly too big snout.
Exactly.
His nose is like, oh my god, look at him.
Mm-hmm.
That is hysterically funny.
Mm-hmm. Again, I'm playing a bone gnaw. I'm gonna have fun with it.
Oh god,
Exactly.
yes. I'm gonna show this on the screen so that people can see that is the image that we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen of the viewing audience. Oh, it was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see if I can actually do this.
I realized I was actually tempted, considering the image I picked for the character, the human image.
Yes.
With the T-shirt I given him, I wondered I did consider if one of his flaws should be enemy get offenders, but I thought, I don't want to end up with my character dead in the first 3 sessions, because making an enemy of the get offenders deliberately is basically suicide by wolf.
Yes, it is.
So yeah.
Especially because they are active in this game and they are hostile to begin with. So don't make them go out of their way to find you.
Mm-hmm. What if I set my character with bait for a trap for them or something? No, we'll see. I'm sure let's face it. We will have plenty of opportunities to find new and creative ways to piss off the Get as this game continues.
I have absolutely no doubt that you will, and oh, they shall be much pissed off.
Mm-hmm. As long as they end up much humbled or much dead by the end of it, I shall be okay. Because nothing like
that will largely be up to you, of course. What you are able to do, and of course, for every time you manage to humble them or piss them off, they are gonna like you a little bit less. Maybe even a lot less.
Well, it again depends very much on what they do. I mean,
yes.
If they, we've got our own shit to worry about. If they leave us alone, if they leave our Sept and York alone, for the most part, we'll do the same. If they decide they want to start causing trouble, then, well, people underestimate bone gnawers, and even if we're looked down upon by the Silver Fangs, we're all about, the Ken is important to keep intact. So
very much so.
We'll do it.
The what are they called? The Silver Fangs, of course, are a bunch of stuck-up pricks as well. So
Yes, but they're also, I hate to say it so bluntly, but they kind of are stuck-up pricks, and they're a bit less inclined to violent exclusionism and supremacism.
Yes, they are. They are a little less likely to rip off your head and spit down the hole.
Exactly. I mean, we're bone gnawers. We can take being called names and shunned, but that's fine. I'll deal with that as long as it doesn't mean we're constantly being.
That's part
mutilated.
of it, Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them going ugh, whenever he looks at you is like, oh, whatever. We're used to that.
Yeah. But yes, no, it's the classic. It's the world of darkness. It's the lesser of two evils, quandaries. Yes, and then on top of all
Don't
the
you
on top
know
of
that in His Majesty's Navy you must always choose the lesser of two evils.
Yes. And then if that wasn't bad enough, having the werewolves fighting each other, we've got vampires to worry about.
Yes, you do. And quite
Including,
a lot of them.
Yes. Including one who looks like he's cosplaying as Conan the Barbarian, but who we need to be watch out for.
Oh yeah, you mean Cineric?
Yes, Cineric, who's an actual sort of pre-Roman Britain, if I understand it.
If he is as old as he claims to be, and he fought at the Battle of Mons Graupus, he quite literally was part of the Pictish resistance to the first attempt at Roman invasion into Scotland.
Yeah. Good lord. Yes, I mean, let's face it. Based on what you've described of him in his flavor text, I'm not that fussed about putting that claim to the test. Really?
No, not really. No.
I've got my own problems to be worrying about.
Just take his word for it, right?
Yep. Yes.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
I think my plan is for the I have one dot in kinfolk, which equals 2 kinfolk.
Yes, it does.
I think those will be the people that Frankie performs with.
Oh, right.
So they will also be homeless.
Yes.
I think she might be romantically involved with one of them.
There you go.
I mean, as far as partners go, kinfolk are quite high up the ideal list, right?
Kinfolk are super high on the list of desirable partners because they already have the Guru gene in their systems. It makes the chance of getting an actual Guru child much higher.
Yes.
Yep.
It's preferred.
Almost necessary for poor Barry.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Again, yeah, I don't know. Don't know how you feel about, getting down with a wolf, but that's how it's gonna go.
Arf, arf, ooh, arf.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you something. The post nut cuddles are going to be fantastic.
Let's see. I edited the picture just briefly. So here as a link.
Let's have a look.
A lunk. Very nice.
I will just share that with the viewers as well.
So she is Floof in wolf.
Oh my god, Floof.
Wolf.
Oh my god, I love that.
Beautiful.
Brilliant. Okay. So, I think we are pretty much. I think we're pretty much done.
Yep, just a case of obviously. We'll dedicate some time throughout the week before session 1 to getting characters set up for our absentee players and getting first changes.
Yes.
Well.
And as I said, if we haven't managed to do first changes before we start playing next week, then we will start by. Then basically that's what we will do. Is we will do first change stories as part of the first session until we've caught up with everything.
Yeah.
That's the way we're going to be doing it because that way we're sure that everybody gets a chance.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, in that case,
Sounds good.
in that case, we are all done for tonight. And ladies and gentlemen of the viewing audience, this has been our session 0 for It's a Dog's Life. And we so very much hope to see you guys come back for the campaign, and we look forward to seeing comments on the videos again. And we promise we read them all. We read all of them, and we try to reply to people as well, as you know. So yes, we are in fact back at long last. And on that note, I'm gonna say thank you for listening in, and good night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.